G'day, how you going? All right, that's the story. Me, I'm just a box of fluffy ducks. Now today what we're going to talk about is the 3 personal skills of highly successful business owners, okay? Now these aren't on the normal lists of the high achieving, my shit doesn't stink, all-star rhymes with bankers that you see flogging their make $1 million in 27 minutes or get your money back. Maybe, if you're lucky. Nope. These are from my personal observations of successful and unsuccessful business owners, and also from my own extensive program of trial and error called my life, mixed in with the occasional bugger me, that actually worked. Okay, they're in an order known only to the deep recesses of my fevered mind. So let's start with number 1, resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from setbacks and to grow and thrive during challenge, change, and adversity. And it's the bounce that counts, as someone once said. I read an article about resilience where the author said that resilient people grow their grit. I love it. Grit is courage and resolve, it's strength of character. And what she said about grit was it's being able to call on the passion and the perseverance that you need to pursue your long-term goals. Because working on truly challenging goals means you're going to experience a lot of obstacles and you're going to need lots of grit to bounce back from them and keep moving forward. Now the funny thing is, the more grit you use to keep going when the going gets tough, the more grit you're producing for the next time and the next time and the time after that. And after a while, things actually do get easier. Now, here's a self-disclosure moment. When I was building this business, I was scared shitless most of the time that it wouldn't work, that I had fewer and fewer options as I got older and older. But in spite of being scared and in spite of more things going wrong than went right for years, not just weeks, I never quit, okay? Now, there's a lovely lady called Erin Van Vuren who once said, "I will not be another flower picked for my beauty and left to die. I will be wild, difficult to find, and impossible to forget." So me, I'm like the Scottish thistle. I'm beautiful from a distance, but I'm really prickly up close. Thomas Edison once said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." And as a result, that's why we got the light bulb. Things don't go wrong and break your heart so you can become bitter and give up. They just happen to break you down and build you up so that you can be all that you want to be. You know, and courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage and resilience is the quiet voice at the end of the day that says, "I will try again tomorrow, and this time I will succeed." Forgive yourself for your faults and your mistakes and move on, because you know what? Shit happens, so get over it. Number 2, being open to support. One of the hardest things to do when you're starting a business is to accept support from other people. We're so obsessed with getting our amazing idea into the market that we don't listen to advice from other people, because it might slow us down, or worse, it might make us question whether we're on the right track. Now, once upon a time, there was a tribe of very short HR managers who lived in very tall elephant grass. Because they were from HR, they were very well organized, and they had job descriptions and a roster of grass cutters and grass stackers, and then they had well-being counselors and all of those sorts of things. Then a young tribe member climbed up a tree and saw they were heading for a cliff. So he yelled out, "Wrong direction!" And up from the savanna plain he heard, "Shut up, we're making progress." Look, when you're on a clock to get your business up and running and some bastard comes along and says, "That's not going to work like that, you need to do X, Y, and Z," you want to do one of 3 things. You want to hit them, or you want to come up with some suitably sarcastic response like, "Yeah, what would you know about it, eh, loser?" Or you just ignore them and hope they go away. But the damage is done. They have planted the seed of the weed that grows and keeps you thinking, "Bugger, what if they're right?" So one of the hardest things to do is to be open to accepting support and advice. Back in my 20s, I built a deck, okay? Deck, that's the way we say it in New Zealand, deck, on the back of my new house. My father came to visit and I showed him the deck, of which I was very proud, and he said, "Good job, Steve, but if I were you, I would have staggered the planks so all the joins weren't in a line," because they were. So I told him off for the first and only time. He was right. I should have staggered the joins. And 37 years later, I can still see that picture so clearly in my mind. Now, I did apologise to him before he died, and he died far too young. And then he apologised to me and he said, Steve, I should just have said, good job, and left it at that. What's my point? We can't always control how people give us support and ideas, but we have total control over what to do with the advice. And if we get shitty every time somebody tries to help with all the best intentions for contributing to our success, you know what? They'll stop after a while, and we will lose an incredibly valuable resource called an objective opinion. So as Shakespeare once said, suck it up, bro, and be open to receiving advice and support. Now here's a little memory jogger to use when you're getting advice and support that you may not have asked for. It's called leads, L-E-A-D-S. Listen to what's being said properly, asking questions without shooting the messenger. The E stands for evaluate the message and think about whether it will indeed improve what you're doing. A, act on the advice. And D, discard the things that you were doing that weren't working. Don't keep them hanging about. The S, say thank you. Okay? Now the third thing is to be curious. And I don't mean curious as in weird, unless that's what you like to be. And I mean, who am I to judge you? Fucking weirdo. No, I mean intellectually curious. Curiosity is something that is a mark of genius. I don't think you can find an intellectual giant who's not a curious person. Thomas Edison, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Steve Ashby, we are all curious characters. So why is curiosity so important in business, and why is it something that you should cultivate as a personal habit? Well, here are 4 reasons. The first is it makes your mind active instead of passive. Curious people always ask questions and search for answers in their minds. Since the mind is like a muscle, which becomes stronger through continual exercise, the mental exercise caused by being curious actually makes your mind stronger and stronger. It's true. Number 2 is it makes your mind observant of new ideas. When you're curious about something, your mind expects and anticipates new ideas related to it. And when those ideas come, they'll soon be recognized. Without curiosity, those ideas might pass right in front of you, and yet you miss them because your mind is not prepared to recognize them. Just think how many great ideas may have been lost due to the lack of curiosity. The third reason is that it opens up new worlds and possibilities. So by being curious, you'll be able to see new worlds and possibilities which are not normally visible. They're hidden behind the surface of normal life. And it takes a bit of a curious mind to look beneath the surface and discover them. And the fourth thing is it actually brings excitement into your life. The life of curious people is far from boring. There are always new things that attract their attention. There are always new toys to play with. And instead of being bored, curious people have an adventurous life. Now, knowing the importance of curiosity, here are some tips to develop it. Number 1, keep an open mind, which is essential if you are going to be curious. You've got to be open to learn, unlearn, and then relearn. Now, some things you know and believe right now might not actually be wrong, and you need to be prepared to accept this possibility and be prepared to change your mind. Number 2, don't take things as being cast in stone. If you just accept the world as it is without trying to dig deeper, you will certainly lose what Einstein called the holy curiosity. Never take things for granted. Try to dig deeper beneath the surface of what's around you. Number 3, ask questions relentlessly. A few videos ago, I mentioned my sister who, instead of going goo goo baba when she first started to talk, would say, but why? And she still does it a lot of years later. The fastest way to dig beneath the surface is to ask questions. What is that? Why is it made that way? How does it work? Rudyard Kipling once said, I know 6 merry gentlemen, they taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and why and who. So, number 4, don't label something as boring and just write it off. Curious people are unlikely to call something as boring. Instead, what they do is see it as a door to an exciting new world. Even if they haven't got time to explore it now, they will leave that door open to be visited another time. Number 5 is to see learning as something that's fun. If you just see learning as a burden, there's no way you'll want to dig deeper into things. But if you think of learning as something fun, you will naturally want to dig deeper. Now, I'm an old bastard learning heaps every day about digital marketing and social media. I should be tottering around on my Zimmer frame, but I'm having the time of my life learning so many new things. So, the sixth thing is gather new ideas from everywhere. There are millions of books and articles and blogs online and podcasts and amazing video series like this one. There is no excuse. The more time you give yourself to be curious and to find out, the faster and smoother you will make the journey to where you want to get to. So, get out there and be curious. Okay, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It'll help support the channel. And if there's anything that you'd like for me to talk about, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and be a part of the notification squad to get notified every time we upload, because I respond to questions in the first hour. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll catch you later.